Joe Biden is breaking up with the American public in favor of a hot, new, exotic partner, the world.
Biden envisions a carbon-neutral U.S. by 2050.
What bothers a lot of people, though, is again,
Accords is one step in President Joe Biden's strategy to fight global warming. Biden plans to spend $1.7 trillion on rapidly deploying clean energy technology around the country, with an enforcement mechanism to reach first-stage goals by 2025.
Look at this on your screen, $12.1 trillion over 25 years. The tab, of course, to be picked up by taxpayers around the world. What bothers a lot of people, though, is again, that the U.S. taxpayers will be floating much of what is put into this accord. You know, India, for example, their effort to this is it'll increase solar generation, and then you've got Russia not even promising to do anything, and yet we're going to be paying out billions for this. Is that fair?
The rest of the world applauded when we signed the Paris Agreement. They went wild. They were so happy. For the simple reason that it put our country, the United States of America, which we all love, at a very, very big economic disadvantage.
But China, is going to be able to do what they want, and we're supposed to regulate ourselves to no effect. Here's Trump saying that.
For example, under the agreement, China will be able to increase these emissions by a staggering number of years, 13. They can do whatever they want for 13 years, not us.
While China's been presenting itself as a leader on climate change, some note the country isn't always squeaky clean. Historically, China hasn't been very transparent on how much coal it consumes. And while China's closed coal plants at home, it's investing billions of dollars toward them in other countries. One of the biggest criticisms of the Paris Accord is that it's weakly enforced.
Bottom line is that the Paris Accord is very unfair at the highest level to the United States.
I don't think there are a lot of Americans who are going to disagree with that basically the cost of energy production go up dramatically when you put heavy regulations on energy production, and that means that people are going to have less money to spend on other things. Again, true. He continues along these lines, and this is where, when Trump said America first, there are people who were saying, okay, if you were talking about this kind of stuff, then I'm with him. Okay, when he says America first, what he should be meaning is that we can't allow other countries to go on doing exactly what they want with their industries and then unilaterally cut our own economy to no net effect.
Joe Biden is breaking up with the American public in favor of a hot, new, exotic partner, the world. Right? The world, it's very alluring. It's got an accent. It's international, makes you feel cosmopolitan when you get to fly all over the place. But he's just, sorry, America, Joe just isn't that into you anymore. And the media has to push this myth that somehow Trump's foreign policy had taken America off the stage, and that was in shambles. But they have to push that narrative in order to allow Joe to succeed by undoing what Trump did.
Biden envisions a carbon-neutral U.S. by 2050. Members of Congress argue Biden will have to take bold action himself.
I think it might be a good idea for President Biden to call a climate emergency.
The president could end fracking or kickstart the U.S.'s alternative energy industry through executive action far quicker than it would take for Congress to formulate legislation.
And you're not just paying more when your electricity bill comes in the mail and more at the gas station, because energy is such a critical component of everything we make and everything we do. We pay for all the goods and services you're paid for. So that has a huge negative ripple effect throughout the economy, disproportionately hurting low-income Americans who pay a higher percentage of their budget on energy bills.
With its pursuit of fracking making it safer and more efficient every year, America has drastically reduced the cost of natural gas. This momentous switch from coal to lower CO2 gas as a source of energy has done far more to drive down carbon dioxide emissions than any recent government climate policy. Turns out that those politicians who gathered in Paris, France, could learn a lot from Paris, Texas.
In Texas, there's still snow on the roads and oil in the ground. We came here to the town of Kilgore, a place synonymous with the oil industry. Because for the people here, it's not just about the environment, but about jobs, livelihoods, and the suspicion that this vast country is not ready to give up on fossil fuels.
I'll tell you about the wind powers. That's what's going on right now. Everything's frozen up. They still use oil. Guess what they went out to defrost them with? A helicopter. That uses oil. How they get the oil? From the ground? I mean, we're years away from stuff like that for renewable resources.
Being from around here, oil is everything. And being from Kilgore, I know a lot of people whose livelihood depend on oil.
You're about prioritizing, and it's a very interesting thing. You look and you say, if we took all this money, this is what we could do, and we could solve almost every world problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things we need to recognize. First, we're going to spend on Paris about $1 trillion to $2 trillion a year for the rest of the century. And if we did that, if we did everything we'd promised in Paris, we would reduce temperatures by the end of the century by about 0.3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
so in a century, after spending $100 trillion, we wouldn't be able to tell the difference. That's not really a solution. That's just wasting money.